My 19-year-old sister was about to marry her high school teacher. Until I found out the truth. My name's Daniel, and I honestly never thought I'd be writing something like this. But the situation in my family has gotten so twisted that I feel like I'm living in one of those bizarre Reddit stories people argue about in the comments. I'm 22. My younger sister Emily is 19, and she just announced that she's getting married. On the surface, that shouldn't be a big deal. 19 is young, but people get engaged all the time, right? Except her fiancé isn't just some random guy she met at college or through friends. He's Mr. Carter, yes, that Mr. Carter, her former high school English teacher. When Emily first told me, I thought she was joking. I actually laughed and said, "Good one. What's next? You're marrying the principal." But she looked at me dead serious, her eyes almost daring me to keep laughing. That's when my stomach dropped. Mr. Carter is 35, a grown man with a mortgage, a full-time teaching job, and more life experience than Emily could even imagine. He used to give me detention for being late to class. Now, somehow, he's about to become my brother-in-law. I tried to play it cool at first. I told her, hey, maybe slow down a bit. You're only 19. You've barely lived your own life yet. But she snapped back. You don't understand, Daniel. He gets me in ways no one else ever has. That line stung more than I expected. I've always been close to Emily when our parents fought. It was me sneaking into her room, making shadow puppets on the walls to distract her from the yelling downstairs. I was the one who took her for ice cream after her first breakup. I thought we had this unshakable bond. But now she's acting like a guy twice her age has completely replaced me. The weirdest part, our parents don't even seem that bothered. Mom said, as long as she's happy, that's all that matters. And Dad muttered, something about at least he's responsible. Are you kidding me? He's not just responsible. He's a teacher who knew her when she was a kid. And here's where it gets messy. A week after Emily dropped the engagement bomb, Mr. Carter actually came to dinner at our house. I half expected him to walk in nervous, maybe a little awkward, but he strolled through the door like he already owned the place. He shook my dad's hand like they were old friends, kissed my mom on the cheek, and even gave me the smug grin that made my blood boil. The entire dinner felt like a performance. He kept telling these polished stories about his passion for literature and how Emily was the brightest student he ever had. He even had the audacity to bring up Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet as if that somehow justified what they were doing. When Emily left the table to grab dessert, I leaned in and asked him straight up, don't you think this is a little messed up? She's a teenager. You were her teacher. He didn't flinch. He just looked me in the eye and said, Emily is an adult. She makes her own choices. If you can't respect that, then maybe you should ask yourself why you're so threatened. Threatened. That word has been echoing in my head ever since. Because the truth is, maybe I am threatened. Not in a romantic way, God. No, but in the sense that I'm losing my sister to someone I don't trust. And it's not just me who notices something's off. My cousin Sarah pulled me aside at a family barbecue and whispered, doesn't it feel like he's grooming her? Like this didn't just start when she turned 18. That thought had crossed my mind more times than I'd like to admit. I even started remembering little things. From when Emily was in high school, how she always talked about how cool Mr. Carter was, how he let her stay after class to work on essays, how he gave her rides home when she said she missed the bus. At the time, I thought nothing of it. Now, I'm piecing things together, and it's making me sick. I tried bringing it up to Emily, asking if anything had started between them before she graduated. She exploded at me. You think I can't make decisions for myself? You think I'm some helpless little girl who got tricked? You're just jealous because he treats me with more respect than you ever have. That one cut deep. I never disrespected her. If anything, I've spent my whole life trying to protect her. But maybe she doesn't want protection. Maybe she wants danger, rebellion, the thrill of doing something everyone else thinks is wrong. And Mr. Carter, he knows exactly how to play that role. The wedding is set for 6 months from now. 6 months. That's barely enough time to process what's happening, let alone stop it. But here's the thing. I don't think I can just sit back and watch this happen. Because I found out something last night, something Emily doesn't know yet. And it could change everything. I couldn't sleep after that dinner. I lay awake staring at the ceiling, my mind replaying Mr. Carter's smug expression every time he touched Emily's hand across the table. He acted like he already owned her, like he had won some battle I didn't even know we were fighting. But then something happened. I was scrolling through my phone around 2 a.m., half out of frustration and half out of paranoia, when I stumbled on something I wasn't supposed to see. A friend from high school, Jenna, had posted an old photo on her private story. It was a picture from junior year, a bunch of students hanging out after class, all smiling at the camera, and there in the background, barely noticeable, was Mr. Carter. At first, It didn't mean much. He was their teacher, after all. But then I saw it. The way he was looking at Emily. Everyone else in the photo looked casual, laughing, mid-conversation. But his eyes were locked on her. Not the way a teacher looks at a student. The way a man looks at someone he wants. I asked Jenna about it, casually at first. She hesitated, then typed. I always thought it was weird how much time they spent together. Like, she was his favorite. Everyone knew it. My stomach churned. This wasn't just in my head. Other people had noticed, too. The next day, I went digging. I pulled out an old laptop where Emily had saved some of her high school assignments. Sure enough, there were emails between her and Mr. Carter. Most of them looked normal teacher. Feedback, essay drafts, but a few stood out. One read, "You have a way of understanding themes that's beyond your years. You remind me more of a colleague than a student." Another, "I enjoy our conversations after class. Sometimes I forget I'm talking to a student at all." I slammed the laptop shut, my chest pounding. This was crossing the line. He had been blurring boundaries for years, and no one stopped him. I needed proof, something undeniable. So I reached out to Sarah, my cousin, the one who'd hinted about grooming. She's blunt, fearless, and way better at digging into things than I am. When I told her what I found, she didn't even hesitate. "We're not letting Emily go through with this," she said. "But we need something solid, something that'll make her see the truth." That night, Sarah came over with her laptop. She's a bit of a hacker, not in the criminal sense, but she knows her way around the internet better than most people. Within an hour, she pulled up archived versions of the school's website and old yearbooks. And that's when we found it. In Emily's senior year yearbook, there was a dedication page. Most teachers had generic quotes, "Proud of my students. Keep chasing your dreams, blah blah blah." But Mr. Carter's note stood out. Under his picture, it read, "Some students leave a mark on you forever." For me, that student knows who she is. He didn't name Emily outright, but we both knew. Everyone who knew him probably knew. And Emily, of course she would have read that and thought it was romantic. By now my anger was boiling over. This wasn't just creepy, it was calculated. He'd been planting seeds in her mind for years, waiting for the day she turned 18 so he could swoop in and make it official. The next morning, I confronted him. He was leaving school when I pulled up in my car. He looked surprised to see me, then smirked like he'd been expecting it. "Daniel," he said smoothly, "what brings you here?" I clenched my fist. "Cut the crap. I know what you've been doing. The emails, the yearbook note. You groomed her." For the first time, he actually looked rattled, but only for a second. Then he leaned closer and whispered, "Careful with your words. Accusations like that can ruin a man's career." "Good," I snapped. "Maybe it should be ruined." He gave me this cold smile that sent a chill down my spine. "You think Emily will believe you over me? She loves me. She chose me. You can wave around old emails and vague quotes all you want, it won't matter. In fact, if you push too hard, you'll only drive her closer to me." I wanted to punch him right there in the parking lot, but I forced myself to walk away. He was right about one thing. If I came at Emily with anger, she'd dig in her heels. But I wasn't giving up. That night, Sarah and I made a plan. We'd gather everything, emails, photos, testimonies from classmates, and show Emily the full picture. Not to shame her, not to control her, but to make her see. Because deep down, I know my sister. She's stubborn, but she's not stupid. She's chasing a fantasy right now. But if she sees the truth, if she sees how long this has been manipulated, she might finally wake up. The only problem? We're running out of time. The engagement party is next week. After that, it'll be full steam ahead to the wedding. And if I don't stop this before then, I might lose Emily forever. The night of the engagement party felt like walking into enemy territory. The venue was a rented banquet hall, decked out with fairy lights and roses, as if covering the walls with glitter could disguise the rotten core of what was really happening. I stood with Sarah near the entrance, clutching the folder we'd put together. Inside was everything: the suspicious emails, the yearbook quote, statements from old classmates who admitted they'd noticed something weird between Emily and Mr. Carter. It wasn't airtight evidence for court, but it was enough to shake Emily's faith in him. When Emily arrived on his arm, my heart sank. She looked radiant, glowing in a pale blue dress, her eyes sparkling with excitement. But beside her, Mr. Carter looked like the cat who swallowed the canary, basking in the admiration of family and friends who didn't know the truth. The night dragged on with fake smiles and small talk. Toasts were made, champagne glasses clinked, and every word of congratulations felt like nails on a chalkboard to me. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore. When the crowd thinned and people were distracted by the cake, I pulled Emily aside. "Can we talk?" I asked, my voice tight. She frowned. "Daniel, please don't start tonight. This is supposed to be a celebration." "I know, I said. That's why I need to show you something before it goes any further. Her arms crossed defensively. If this is about him again, it is, I cut in, pulling out the folder. But you need to see this. Just, please, from me. For a moment, she hesitated. Then she sighed and opened the folder. Her eyes scanned the first few pages of the emails. Her brow furrowed as she read the lines about her being more like a colleague and how he enjoyed their after-class talks. That doesn't prove anything, she said quickly, her voice shaking. Keep going, Sarah urged. Emily flipped to the yearbook page. The vague but loaded dedication stared back at her. Her face paled. That could be about anyone, she whispered, but her voice lacked conviction. Then she hit the testimonies. Former classmates recalling how he always gave her special treatment, how he lingered after class with her, how everyone joked about her being the teacher's favorite. By the time she looked up, her eyes were glassy with tears. Why are you doing this? Why can't you just let me be happy? Because this isn't happiness, I said, my voice breaking. This is control. He's been grooming you since you were 15, maybe younger. Don't you see? He didn't fall in love with the 19-year-old he targeted, the kid who looked up to him, and waited until he could make it legal. Her lip trembled, and for a second, I thought I'd reached her. But then his voice cut through the air like a knife. What's going on here? Mr. Carter appeared behind her, his eyes narrowing as he spotted the folder in her hands. In one smooth motion, he snatched it away and flipped through the pages. His expression darkened. This is pathetic, he sneered, digging up scraps, twisting innocent words, dragging my reputation through the mud just because you can't handle the fact that Emily loves me. She doesn't love you, I snapped. She loves the version of herself you created. You've been manipulating her for years. He stepped closer, towering over me, his voice low but venomous. You think you're some kind of hero, Daniel. You're just a jealous little boy who can't accept that your sister has grown up and doesn't need you anymore. Emily flinched at his tone, and I caught at the flicker of doubt in her eyes. Look at how he talks to me, I told her. That's the real him. Not the charming teacher. Not the romantic fiancé. This, a man who lashes out the second he's challenged. For a long moment, the room was silent, except for the muffled sounds of laughter and music. From the other side of the hall, Emily's gaze darted between us, her chest rising and falling rapidly. Then she whispered, almost too softly to hear, Did you wait for me? All those years? Mr. Carter's face froze. He opened his mouth, but no words came out. That was all it took. Emily's tears spilled over, and she ripped the engagement ring off her finger. You disgust me, she choked out, throwing it at his chest. The room seemed to tilt. For once, Mr. Carter didn't have a smooth comeback. He just stood there, his jaw clenched, his eyes blazing with hatred not at her, but at me. You'll regret this, he muttered before storming out, the folder still crumpled in his hand. Emily collapsed against me, sobbing into my shoulder. I held her tight, fighting back my own tears. Sarah rubbed her back gently, whispering that it was going to be okay. That night, Emily stayed with me. She didn't talk much, just curled up on my couch under a blanket, staring blankly at the TV while I sat beside her. I knew she was replaying everything in her head, every memory of him now tainted with the realization of what it truly was. The next morning, she finally spoke. Thank you, she whispered. I hate you for showing me. But, thank you. I nodded, my throat too tight to respond. It's been 3 weeks since then. Emily cut off all contact with Mr. Carter, though he's tried reaching out. The school board is now reviewing his conduct. After Sarah anonymously shared the evidence, he might lose his job, maybe even more. Emily's healing, slowly. Some days she's angry at herself. Other days she's quiet, but she's starting to see that none of this was her fault. She was a kid, and he was a predator. As for me, I'm just glad I didn't stay silent. I almost let fear and doubt convince me to keep my mouth shut. But if I had, my sister might be trapped in a marriage that would have destroyed her. And maybe that's the real lesson here. Sometimes protecting the people you love means being the bad guy in the moment, risking their anger, even their hatred. Because in the end, the truth matters more than temporary peace. Emily doesn't call me overprotective anymore. Now she just calls me her brother. And that's enough.